Hey, welcome back to another video. I'm super glad you tuned in. In this video, I want to share something that is kind of not really talked about as a benefit to starting an online business or starting a YouTube channel. And I think it's probably the most important thing. We're going to talk about it in this video. If you're new here on this channel, we talk about business and lifestyle design from the inside out. So if you're into that, consider subscribing, turn on the bell if you want to be notified. And also, if you get any value from this video, I would appreciate a thumbs up. That would be super awesome. That helps me out a lot. So let's jump into this a little bit. So one of the things that I've discovered on my journey of creating content, of talking about things that I'm passionate about, creating products and services that I want to see in the world, right? That I want to use, that I think will make the world a better place, help you get more of what you want, right? One of the byproducts from that process and that journey is that I get to express myself, right? I get to practice speaking, I get to practice sharing, and that's no small benefit, right? That's no small thing, because in the game of life, we are expressors, right? We're creators. We want to share ideas. We want to connect. We want to speak our truth. And when we do that, it feels really, really awesome. I remember years ago, I was watching Alpha M, Aaron Marino's channel, and he said that one of the biggest joys that he has in his business and life is going into the room that he creates all of his content in. If you've seen his stuff, you know he always has the same backdrop, same room. It's a very streamlined process. And he says, you know what? It's super joyful to go in and create these videos. And at the time, I wasn't really creating. I may have started the podcast and had launched the podcast, but I wasn't creating video content to the extent that I am now. And so I really didn't understand that. I was like, all right, Aaron, whatever, whatever, buddy. But I just put it in the back of my mind. And as I went on my own journey, I hear other people talk about this as well, right? Oh, it's really fun to share your passion. It's really fun to share what excites you. It's really fun to share about what you know and love, right? And share that with other people. And over time, I started to really see this like hidden gem that is typically at the lower end of the list of reasons people start a YouTube channel. And it certainly was for me, right? I started the YouTube channel to promote myself, right? To share best practices for living, talk about my books and courses and digital products. And I never really thought that I would ultimately end up finding the greatest joy and the greatest satisfaction just from doing this, right? Talking to the camera, sharing ideas and insights with you that may inspire you to do something that you haven't done before, or may inspire you to start a YouTube channel. Since we're on that point, I think everybody should have a YouTube channel. I've said this before in other videos or podcasts. Even if you never want to sell anything, even if you never want to promote anything, just simply to express yourself, right? Simply to share your truth, to share your perspective on the world, because everyone has a different perspective on the world. And when we share that, it's almost like we all get to live vicariously through another person. And it doesn't matter who you are or what you do or where you are, your perspective may touch someone in a deep and profound way, and you may never know it. But beyond that, like I said, you doing that, us sharing our truth, is a very enjoyable experience. Abraham Hicks said that we are joy looking for a way to express. And you know what? Based on my experience, that is 100% true. Well, all of their stuff is pretty darn true, because if you follow the channel, you know that I really, really resonate with their stuff. And so that's all I wanted to share with you in this video. I just want to encourage you that if you're thinking about starting a YouTube channel or starting a podcast, maybe move what could be at the bottom of the list, which is, oh, I get to have fun expressing myself, to the top of the list and see how it goes, right? Because like I said, most of the time that benefit is at the bottom of the list for people because we've got all these other agendas in front of it. And as I go on my own journey and as I'm constantly reinventing myself and my YouTube channel and my brand and my business, that is starting to flip-flop. And I'm really focusing on enjoying the process more, having much more fun, right? Talking about things that are entertaining to me. I just started a YouTube channel, a YouTube Shorts channel. You can check that out in the on my home channels page near the bottom. There's a link to that channel. But that channel I'm going to be a little more fun with. I'm going to be a little more, open and not so focused on sharing ideas and insights to help you get what you want. Just simply to have fun, express myself, create, right? We are creators, you're a creator. And so when you think about that, maybe just look at that from a broader perspective. And honestly, what I feel is, was the lowest thing, this idea of, you're going to have a lot of fun creating these videos, is quickly becoming the top thing, because it does take time. It takes an enormous amount of energy to create these videos and edit them and upload them, and not just do it once or twice, but consistently, week after week, month after month, year after year. And if you're not having fun during that process, if you're not enjoying that process, you're going to quit so fast, and you're going to say, this sucks, right? I'm tired of making these videos, whether you made 40 or 50 or 100, eventually you're going to get burned out. But what I've noticed is that if you're talking about what you're passionate about, if you're enjoying the process, and again, looking for that fun aspect and that aspect of speaking your truth, letting that joy out, then you get filled up every video that you make, and you can't wait to make another video, right? You can't wait to share your truth even more to even more people. So I hope this video finds you well. And if you're considering starting a YouTube channel, I highly recommend it. Like I said, even if you're not going to sell anything, just play in that space, or start a podcast, or write a blog. But it's a creative way to express yourself, right? And who knows, you may inspire or touch someone that you, like I said, you may not even know. Before I wrap this video up, I want to invite you to check out the most recent episode of the podcast. And my guest was Josh Carey, and he talks about this, right? He talks about this idea that, just as a side note, his business is Podmax, and they help entrepreneurs and business people share their message, create content. But what he noticed, and his journey is so fascinating, and that's why I invited him to be my guest on the podcast, because I think his journey is the same journey we're all on. And just to give you a little bit of a teaser to that episode, he talks about this idea of being afraid to share his true, authentic self, to create something that was really in alignment with who he is and what he's about, because it might be so awesome that he may be open for attack or some type of criticism from other people, and he wasn't ready to do that in his earlier life. But as he goes on in life, he's definitely into personal development, definitely a very courageous person, and he dove headfirst into this content creation model, and it changed him. And he talks about that change. He became much more courageous, much more outgoing, much more confident. And you know what? Those things are exactly what happened to me as well. And I'm still on that journey, right? We're always walking that path. I don't believe we're ever going to get there. But when you look back, and again, I'm going to bring in Jim Rohn's quote here because it is so apt to what we're talking about. Jim Rohn said that the success that you attract will be because of who you become, right? Who you become will attract all of the business opportunities, all of the relationships, all of the awesome experiences that you want, maybe even some that you don't even know you want. But it all happens when we start taking action, when we start expressing ourselves. And if you are a new YouTuber, and if you are new to the platform, one of the things that I would recommend that you do is to just have fun with it in the process, and maybe not even have an agenda other than documenting your journey, like Gary Vaynerchuk talks about, right? Document, don't create. Documenting your journey, working on expressing yourself, working on being your true authentic self. And P.S., this is my work right now too, right? It's always our work. One of the short videos I created was about being the most you can be. And as I go along on my journey, that is kind of my goal right now, where I'm at right now, as I'm going to the next level, the next iteration of my business, really pulling back and kind of reinventing and retooling and tweaking what I want to do in the online space to keep it exciting for me and to keep myself engaged, and also to be more valuable to you, right? One of the things that I'm thinking about is, all right, let's peel back a layer of a layer of myself to reveal a more true aspect of myself, and then move forward, then create content from there. And I think it's like this layers of an onion. We're constantly peeling back these layers until we get to our core person, our core being. And then that's what's really going to strike a chord, I believe. That's what's really going to resonate with people when we're sharing our true authentic self in a way that is helpful and entertaining and fun and creative, and it's just all of those things balled into one. So like I said, I encourage you to check out Josh Carey's episode, and if you aren't a subscriber, I'd love to have you as a subscriber on the channel. A lot of great things coming up in the future, but until then, I want to thank you for watching this video. Thank you, and have an awesome day. All the best, health, wealth, and success. Bye-bye.